Welcome to I Heart Geek.
And welcome to a second episode of I Heart Geek Wrestling. Yes! Yes, love child!
The champ is here! The champ is here!
Too sweet.
Belts don't mean nothing. It's only for real champs like me. Yeah, we are having an absolute blast, so we had to do at least another episode of this. We're coming on Wrestlemania season. I'm Dub. We're here with Chris. We're here with Kevin. Sorry, I knew we had to jump back on there. Okay, so we started talking about some of the big storylines going into WrestleMania. So we're going to keep going on that, and then we got lots of other stuff to talk about. Wrestling is freaking fertile ground right now, kids. Oh my gosh. You could plant a tomato seed and have a big tomato plant within a month. It'd be huge.
It's so ripe. It's so juicy.
It'd be fertile. It would taste like tomato. I don't know where I got that from. Okay, so let's talk about it. We already talked about it a little bit, but selling WrestleMania, the Cody phenomenon. This is bizarre. You know, it's the WWE cast off of Cody came back as the biggest face in wrestling. He can't lose.
No.
I don't.
He's not losing.
I think if he loses, they're just going to shut down the company.
I'll stop watching. At that point, they've got me watching again. They've got me at least to his segments. I'll watch an hour or two of Monday Night Raw, which I haven't done in literal years. And if he literal years since AEW, I stopped. And if he does not win, I will stop watching again.
Cody Rhodes must win the WWE title. He must do it. He must get rid of 2 belts and bring back the Winged Eagle title. I expect him to have it in Los Angeles at WrestleMania 39. I expect him to win the match clean, even though there will be some shenanigans.
Oh, there will definitely be shenanigans.
I want him to win clean, but you know something's gonna happen. Someone's gonna.
Bold prediction: KO turns on Sam. He turns on everybody and helps out Roman.
Ooh,
wow,
ooh, girl.
I broke your brain.
Oh, girl, no. But Cody. The point is, Cody's walking out of WrestleMania as the WWE champion.
Hey, now, and I did say the Cody phenomenon for a reason. Here's the problem: where do we go next? We're gonna have to split up the belt, so he's gonna have to lose, which he's gonna need to lose. But in a fatal 4-way. And that way, you need to get rid of one of the belts because it doesn't make any sense to have it all onto one. Unless, like we were talking about last week in AEW and WWE combined and blah. But that's a long shot, to say the least. So what do you think happens next? Because they can't keep going with Cody does not work well as the unstoppable monster because he's not. What happens next, guys?
I think he loses right away. I think he loses within a couple months. No, within a couple months. I think he holds it for a couple months and he loses. He's all about the chase. I can't see him, and then he's going to win it for like 3 or 4 more times, and I just can't see him holding it for very long.
To who?
There are 2 possible names in WWE.
One of them, but go ahead.
Bray Wyatt.
That was one of them.
and or Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn would be the bet, but they'd have to keep him a face. That would be the best face versus face matchup since Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, WrestleMania 4, 5, whatever it was.
7. It was 7. In Canada. It was in Canada. That one.
I think that'd be the best face to face feud, almost in most in your guys' lifetime anyway. Because I don't like face versus face, but I think that would work. But I think that they need to have Sami Zayn and KO win the tag. That's more exciting to me than him winning the big one. I don't want to see Sami ever carrying the big belt.
He's championship material. I mean, the one thing I love,
but I don't want to see him wearing it. I don't.
The one thing I love about Triple H is because he's a historian and he's not concerned of how much steroids they're on. He lets smaller wrestlers or normal size wrestlers wrestle, and he lets them show off their prowess, and he gives them more chances than the Brock Lesnar's and the Bobby Lashley's and Tyson Tomko's. Yeah, that's a weird deep cut. Yeah,
that was a bizarre deep cut, dude. Jeez.
Bull Buchanan. There's another one.
IRS.
Yeah.
Tyson Tomko. Wow.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
dude, you killed me. You broke
Marcus Corvon. Remember him? He was so great in TNA, and then he did like one WrestleMania in Detroit, and then that was it.
Chris Masters. Yeah. Okay, we're on a bizarre little. Let's jump back in. So, you think that it's Sammy that takes it from him?
Sammy or Bray Wyatt? Yes.
Okay, Kevin. What about you?
I used to love Bray Wyatt. I used to be all about Bray Wyatt, and he is doing the same thing that Cody Rhodes was doing in AEW. He's overthinking everything, overproducing everything, and he's not just talking because he has the voice of an angel silky voice. I love his voice, the way he speaks.
He has the same stage presence as Jake the Snake Roberts.
And he needs to do that. And instead, he's gimmicked himself out of this world to where I don't care anymore. Like every single one of his matches, I just don't care. So no, I don't want Bray Wyatt anywhere near. I want Bray Wyatt to be Bray Wyatt again and not whatever's going on.
This is something I want to talk about is the Bray Wyatt is spinning his wheels. This is, and I don't put this on Triple H. I don't put this on the writing. I put this on him. He got such an ego about he's the greatest self-booker in history, blah, blah. And he's one of the best promo guys in history. And I will give that. But he's spinning his wheels now. He's supposed to fight Lashley. Who cares?
The rumor is that it was pitched that Bray Wyatt, Brock Lesnar, and Brock Lesnar was like, "No, I'm not working with him."
Well, because he'd have to go down.
Yeah,
and he let's be honest, he's got a bit of an ego on him.
Brock Lesnar
has almost could be a 5-minute match, couple power moves, and then he leaves. Like
boring, yes.
Brock Lesnar can do whatever he wants. I love this version of Brock Lesnar. Him is just being like the Canadian cowboy.
I be Goldberg.
No. You know what's funny because I had not watched WWE in a while, and then all of a sudden, when this whole Cody Rhodes, I started watching it again. I'm like, where in the heck did this Brock Lesnar come from? What is this? Does he have an accent now? What the heck? And it was the wildest flip the script on me because I was hearing about Cowboy Brock, but not actually seeing it.
Well, the best thing that ever happened to Brock Lesnar is leaving Paul Heyman. He could not have made it as far as he did without Paul Heyman, but it's so good that he left because no one if you're in the ring with Paul Heyman, don't touch the mic because you will suck at it. So in order for him to get out of that shadow, it was the best thing in the world for him.
And the fact that he's just being himself, like that was my one criticism of Brock Lesnar up until his like third or fourth return. Whenever he came back at SummerSlam, that one SummerSlam, I think it was last year in Vegas, actually. Like when he fully embraced Cowboy Brock, how he actually is. Like I was like, yes, this is what I'm also a softie for Brock Lesnar because he's just so cool. But yeah, as far as Bray Wyatt goes, though, I wished he didn't spend 4 months on LA Knight. I wish,
but LA Knight is brilliant, and he needs to be pushed to the freaking moon. Sorry,
he is. I wish that they didn't do this Mountain Dew pitch black match. I mean, it was cool for like the glow in the dark and the special effects, but like
it paid for the pay-per-view.
Yeah, I think Bray Wyatt's main problem is they've been teasing his faction or rumored faction for now almost half of a year, and all we've seen is Bo Dallas / Uncle Howdy or whoever it is.
I think it's like Eric. What's his name from?
Eric Rowan?
No.
Eric Young.
Eric Young. I think it's Eric Young.
It's too small.
No, it's too. Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, if Eric Young was,
voice.
I mean, I like Bray Wyatt. I like what he's doing. I like his whole
thing.
Weirdness, and I always enjoy his promos and everything. I just feel like when Bray Wyatt actually wrestles and stops talking, he's awesome. Or like you said, he's overproducing everything, and it's just like, all right, just get to it. It's just simple storytelling. It's just like, just get to it. Don't
He's Undertaker.
But he's not Undertaker.
I think he's better than Undertaker. I really do. Sorry.
Defend that right now. How is Bray Wyatt better than the Undertaker?
I think he's a better wrestler than Undertaker is. I think that Undertaker had this thing that he would only show up every now and again with a supernatural gimmick, and that's why you love him so much. If Bray Wyatt did the same thing, you only saw him for the big ones, I think you're better off. I think that if he's not better, he's at least in the same league.
Your nostalgia is messing with you right now, because I'm watching Reliving the War, which is every episode of Monday Night Raw and WCW Nitro, and they're doing it, and Undertaker was awesome. And he's still, you can't compare the two, man.
And he switched his gimmick a lot.
He's Undertaker light. He's Undertaker light.
Yeah, he's trying to be Undertaker. Bray Wyatt.
I think he was just produced better.
Bray Wyatt?
No.
Or Undertaker?
Undertaker was
absolutely. Because his gimmick was simple. It was simple. It wasn't.
Well, then they came up with the crap with Kane and all that stuff. And it's Paul Bearer's my dad, and he's Kane's dad. And I thought that was
that's what made it. That's what made it fun. That's what made it fun. But I think
what is going on right now? Doug, what the heck, bro?
Do you smell toast? Do you need medical assistance?
Oh my god!
Wow, so much anger. Wow, you think I was talking about Marvel being a cult? Sorry, poking the bear.
I mean, it is, but that's for another day.
That's another conversation.
That's another podcast.
Okay, so going back to the beginning, they're spinning his wheels, and honestly, they're not doing a service. I think.
Yeah.
Is he redeemable? Absolutely. I mean, as I say, I think he's got all the mic skills of Jake the Snake Roberts, who had the best mic skills before that. I think he's redeemable. I think that they just need to pull the trigger on the family and let him do his thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree.
Now let's talk Judgment Day versus Edge. I don't care anymore.
It's dumb. Next.
Over it.
But, however, one part of that will be the Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte, and I think this is going to be the first double turn we've seen since Hitman Stone Cold. And I think these two can pull it off. People want to cheer Rhea Ripley. People hate Charlotte. It's fertile ground to have the double turn, and I think these two can go.
So WWE's main problem is they tend to, and they're the only company that does this. They have a problem when they create stars, to where oh crap, we created Sami Zayn. Now what are we gonna do? Oh no, Rhea Ripley's getting over organically. Now what are we gonna do? They need to pull the trigger on Rhea Ripley, and I
think they have. I think they did with Royal Rumble. I think her performance was great. Everybody cheered her, even though she's a heel. And she's still playing off the heel with Dominic. I think she's just going to go destroy
Dominic's
Dominic.
Amazing. Oh man, I love his character now.
He is someone you legitimately hate in the ring, but that's what makes him so good.
Oh, his character is so fun now. All the YouTube videos they do.
I don't ever want to see him turn face. No, he is honestly. He's copying Eddie Guerrero to a T, and he's doing a great job at it.
And he has permission from Vicky to do that. That just came out last week. He asked permission from Vicky. He
grew up with them. I mean, it's not a.
Well, it's his stepdad, right? Or his father?
No, that's his real dad, according to.
Real dad, that's right.
According to that 2004 match for the custody of Dominic.
I love wrestling.
But I think if they do it right, they can do the double turn, and I think that we have another program that goes for a full year with this double turn that's going to happen.
Is it
Judgment Day is going to be over after WrestleMania because Ripley's going to blow it up.
I mean, Judgment Day was over when they took Edge out of the group because Vince McMahon's an idiot. But I think, personally, I'm kind of sick of Charlotte. It's like, I know they're trying to get her to break her dad's record of world title.
Stupid.
There's so many other lady wrestlers, also known as wrestlers, that could be pushed, and I'm glad it's Rhea Ripley because she can I feel like her first title reign was cut way too short after WrestleMania 35. Give her the belt, let her wrestle Becky Lynch. Yeah, just let her go. Just let her do her thing.
Give it to her for 6 months. I think she needs at least 6 months with the belt.
Give it to her for a year. She can carry the company for a year.
I think she can. I think she can carry the company, not the women's division. I think she can carry the company. I think she I think she has all the heat that Becky had before she got pregnant. I don't know what else.
The three of us are just like, what?
Well, let's be honest. She kind of died off when she got pregnant. She disappeared. It's like
she had a baby.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a fault. I'm saying that she's never been able to recover.
She lost her heat. She wasn't able to get her heat back. Yeah,
Rhea Ripley has that heat. That's what I'm saying. It was a compliment. It wasn't a bad thing. Jerks. Jeez.
Well, I was trying to figure out where you were going with that. I was like, is he going to finish that? Is he?
Well, I thought that Chris was about to say something, so I'm like, okay. Oh, he didn't. And then I was like, oh man, we're in the weeds right now.
Because I was just like, I mean, I know it's your show. I'm just like, huh? You had me speechless. You had me speechless, Dub. That's rare.
So I wasn't insulting Becky Lynch having a baby, whatever. She lost all her heat, and she has never been able to recover. I think that Ripley has every bit of heat that Becky Lynch had. Period. And I think that she is probably a more feminine Chyna, which makes her probably the most marketable female wrestler since Trish Stratus and Lita. And by the way,
I can see that.
Lita getting the belt.
Oh my why is Lita wrestling again?
Oh God!
And with the worst run-in from Trish Stratus, I'm like,
that women's tag team division is
pull the plug. It's done.
Yeah, like you can keep it on NXT, as a developmental thing. I don't.
Well, this goes back to if we had the single, if we had the the multi thing, you could have a female tag team that could go back and forth.
Yeah,
that would be more interesting because there's never going to be enough female tag team wrestlers.
There are too many belts. There are too many belts in all the companies.
Yep, I agree.
No, I think you should only have one of each major belt.
Yes.
However, the universe, the what is it? The Intercontinental title, that's the one that Gunther has, is being elevated in the U.S. title. I don't even know who has it.
Austin Theory.
Gunther to take on Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
Gunther to take title from Cody Rhodes.
I'd watch that match.
That would be a good match. He's definitely showing him. He's definitely, his stock has gone way up since Royal Rumble. Now I want to talk an underdog tag team that I told one of you guys about, and you guys got excited at the prospect of it. And I think that we're going to hit something really big. Is Ricochet, Braun Strowman. Braun's boring as a singles wrestler. Ricochet is amazing, but he doesn't have the personality. You put those two together, and I think that they are going to be huge.
I think that's a tag team made in heaven.
They've been wrestling now. I want to see them being the ones that carry the title for a good long time.
Ever since Ricochet was elevated to the main roster, he's been wasted.
Yep,
that's a fact.
It's just proof that when Triple H is running things, it's so much better, leaps and bounds, and he's actually utilizing the amazing talent he spent a good 10 years, poaching from the indies and other companies and developing himself.
Yeah.
Speaking of other companies, can we is this a perfect segue for AEW?
So this is why AEW sucks. I'm just kidding. I don't think AEW sucks.
It does not suck.
I don't think it sucks. Okay, I'm pulling on your goats a little bit here. But why I don't think that they're going to ever take over that top market is because of the streaming, because WWE has all the streaming. Most people are getting rid of cable anymore. I'm not going to spend $20 for the Ring of Honor network, for the Ring of Honor. You can get for $10, you can get all of WWE programming in one place, or you can get it on Hulu, or you can get or SmackDown, which isn't even on cable anymore, which is nice. That's where is the distribution, is the getting eyes on the product. Yes, they're owned by
Warner Brothers.
Warner Brothers. They have HBO Max. Put it on there.
AEW is only 3 years old. I mean, come on. I think they've done it really good in 3 years.
I think they,
and so I mean, really, and in 5 years, I mean, they're having a contract year right now. And what happens in 5 years, they will be on a streaming service. The video game's coming out this year. Looks really good. I think that. What's that?
Is Cody going to be in it?
I think he will be. Honestly, I think he will be.
The problem with AEW right now is they lost their way. They lost their way.
Everything
and
was a dream
I
match.
love CM Punk for the longest time. I loved watching him, but they lost their way with that when he put too much garbage out there, and then they had to do something about it. Now I do think he's coming back, and I do think he's going to come back. I do think he's going to team up with FTR. They're going to have FTR versus being the elite in the trios title. I think that's why this trios championship is going to suck because everybody wants House of Black to win, but the elite's going to win, and as soon as they win, CM Punk and FTR are going to come back out.
That CM Punk is going to, if he shows his face in AEW, the heat on him is going to be outstanding.
It's going to be the most amazing thing.
If this turns out to be a giant work based on a legitimate fight, it is kudos to Tony Khan. I'm going to pull up the card for Revolution real fast because, as you touched on, there's like 2 or 3 matches I'm interested in. One of them is the Elite versus House of Black. I love House of Black. I love the Elite more, but I think because Tony Khan's a bad booker at times, I think he'll give the titles to House of Black for like 5 seconds, or CM Punk and FTR will come out and they'll, interfere. The other match I'm interested in is MJF Bryan Danielson, because I am now tired of MJF and his shtick. I loved MJF. He was fantastic. He does like virtually nothing. He doesn't have to go like Bray. He doesn't have to be supernatural like Bray Wyatt. Him being a jerk works, but It's old. He does the same thing. And I think you have to take the belt off of MJF. As good and as talented as he is, I think you have to put it on Bryan Danielson. And I think you have to put MJF in another feud to get him back into the title scene because, he's 26 years old? He's pretty young to be a champ.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I'm just thinking now Brock Lesnar was like 22, 23 when he was. But
he's like 3 men, let's be honest.
Yeah. MJF is going to be the face of AEW if he doesn't leave.
He's going to leave.
In the bidding war of 2024. Now, if MJF leaves for WWE, I don't see MJF being a main eventer. He'll be mid, as he says. He'll be mid. He's a top draw for them. What do you think about Mr. MJF, Kevin?
I feel the same way, and I think viewers, all the viewers do. If you look at viewership numbers, I mean they were at 1.2, 1.1 in September, and right now, since he's had the belt, they're at about 850 to 900. They had about a 950, or they had 1 million like 2 weeks ago, but on a go home episode of a pay-per-view, it was about 850,000. That speaks volumes to your champion. And I always have loved MJF, but I definitely agree. He needs to get rid of the belt and then build him back up or do something different and let him work on his shtick a little bit more because it's the same thing.
Now, how much of it do you think is partially because Tony Khan is trying to run like 3 different companies at the same time without AEW, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Fulham football team? Okay, well, let's go back to wrestling. He's trying to run AEW, Ring of Honor, and like be a thorn in everyone's side and trying to keep like New Japan open. So how much do you think it's because Tony Khan is in over his head and he needs like other people to run things?
I was saying this the other day, and that was the one thing that had me concerned about when they bought Ring of Honor is that there was no infrastructure. There was already a bunch of problems. You were hearing the rumblings behind the scenes about infrastructure and that guys would not work for weeks and weeks and weeks and didn't even know if they were still signed or anything, if anything was still going because they couldn't get a hold of anybody. And they need to work on that infrastructure first. I think that's a huge part of it.
So I think you and I, without even asking this question, which I'm going to ask, I think we're in agreement. I think, do you think they need to trim the roster down and consolidate their product on TV and online?
Yes. Oh, for sure. They need to have the Ring of Honor be NXT. They need to have your AEW guys. And then, yeah, it definitely needs to be trimmed down because you'll have, I mean, where's Miro?
Where is Miro?
Where's Miro?
He's so good. Like, I know
you have all these guys that you won't see for forever, and then all of a sudden they pop up, and it's like I'm supposed to care about him again. Like it just doesn't. They definitely need to trim down the roster. He got really big, really fast, and then all of a sudden they got super bloated.
I agree. Now this is where I think AEW is skirting into WCW territory in terms of they have so many people and they're focusing on, like, let's say maybe like half, if that, being generous. I honestly think, and I maybe you'll agree with what I'm about to say, you keep Dynamite as the flagship show on TBS. You cancel Rampage because no one's watching Rampage, and you replace it with a 1 hour Ring of Honor shows like NXT has on USA Network. And then you keep Dark, and then you keep Dark and Elevation, or even rebrand Elevation as Ring of Honor Dark, and you put those online.
Mm-hmm.
And you trim the roster.
No, you said that, I think the last episode you had mentioned that about doing Ring of Honor as Rampage. I'm 100% unequivocally for that, because now, I mean, the storylines don't even go over to Rampage. I mean, when it first came out, I was watching Rampage, and then you start realizing it was a lot like Thunder, WCW Thunder, where you really didn't have to watch Thunder back in the day because everything was really about Nitro. And at least if they put Ring of Honor on Friday, then you would have different storylines with different guys. So I'm all for that.
Now, one thing I think that AEW does better is they have one champion for the company. There's one men's champion, there's one tag team champion, there's one women's champion. Then you get the trios championship, which I'm like, okay, they have factions, they have the roster size to do it. But Ring of Honor also has a trios championship. So it's like,
I like mid card championships though. I like Intercontinental and US championships.
Yeah. I do too, but
those are important.
Yeah, but you have to. I feel like when you have what I think, and I think you agree on this too, Kevin. And this is a problem with WWE as well. There's too many belts.
Yeah, I don't know who's champ.
Well, there's definitely too many belts with AEW right now. What's the Mid Atlantic Championship?
That's like the European.
Mid European or what? I mean,
they have a TV title. That's a kiss of death.
They have the TNT title, okay, which is their mid champion, cool. But then they also had, like, what you said, was a mid European transatlantic or what? It doesn't make sense.
Like, I like the idea behind the All Atlantic Championship because it's like the one title like that they can bring to indie shows in Japan or Europe, which is fine if you want to have a true European title or world, like, a traveling title. That's fine. Don't feature it on TV though. Make it like a house show type thing.
Exactly. It doesn't. You don't really. It was so hard. I think that's what they are doing, but it was just so like, well, why? Why do I care?
Yeah, it's there are too many belts, and
this all goes back to what we talked about. If they did the mega and they had the territories, all this would be. I fixed wrestling, guys. I fixed wrestling. Okay.
So this armchair booker that I am. That's a perfect segue because now I think because we're talking about WWE has too many belts, AEW Ring of Honor has too many belts. Impact probably has too many belts. I like Dub's idea from the last episode where we kind of go back to the territory system and then have one giant WrestleMania show. I think that'd be great. I think what all the companies need to do, first thing, they got to have one set of champions, because they have these overinflated rosters and there's too much going on. So you pare down the championships to one tag team champion, one main champion, one women's champion, and one mid-card champion. I liked AEW when it had 4 championships and you knew who they were.
You knew exactly what was going on. Yep.
You keep I like the idea of the territory. So you like keep WWE in the Northeast and Chicago. You do AEW in the South and like Texas, and you do like Ring of Honor. You put them out in California on the West Coast, and then you have like New Japan. Because like one thing about wrestling now, and this is the other thing that I meant to talk about last episode, is WWE is starting to tune into the European market because they love WWE. They sell out everything. They're doing Money in the Bank at the O2 in London.
Wow.
Because Clash at the Castle was such a good pay-per-view. But it's, I think because wrestling is truly now a global thing again, because, you know, you could get New Japan Wrestling if you wanted to watch it. You could literally have any wrestling show on your TV or computer or tablet.
AAA.
So even Mexico too. So it's just like, I like Dub's idea, and I'm gonna take co-credit for it, even though I didn't come up with it.
Okay, so
yeah.
So let's do this. This is the last thing we're gonna end with. Let's say this idea happened, and we can do. Who are some trades that you would want to see happen? And remember, it can't be Ricochet for Kenny Omega. I mean, you got to have some kind of equal footing. And it's got to benefit both companies and both wrestlers. Who are some of the trades you would love to see? I know Kevin's got a couple because we've talked about this before. I would like to see the Usos get traded for the Young Bucks.
Yes.
I think they both need a change of scenery, and I think that helps out both companies.
Well, that goes right. That goes right with my thing too, because I was thinking Omega and Reigns. Flipping.
Really? You think that Omega is that big of a draw?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think he is, but I don't think that the other side has heard of him much. I think he's amazing. I've been watching for a lot of years.
Yeah,
I'm not saying my eyeball test. I'm saying the general consensus.
I would put a trade package together. I'm going to be a Tom Fitzgerald now and make this monster blockbuster trade from AEW.
You don't get Meyer. Okay.
WWE gets Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, and MJF for Austin Theory, Finn Balor, and the Usos.
I like that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be mad at that.
Yeah.
Finn Balor would be great in AEW.
Yes, he would be.
He would be great.
He's being wasted. He's being so wasted in WWE. It gets me angry. You know, even throw Sami Zayn over to AEW too. I think he'd be great in AEW.
Maybe.
I'm riding the high of his like fan base right now. Just let me have this.
Well, you know who I think is on equal footing, especially since you guys said he's lost a lot of the his shine, would be MJF and The Miz. They have the same gimmick, but you trade them and they're both happier. Because they're both the same on the mic. I think that they're both depreciating pieces of crap.
I can't see The Miz ever wrestling anywhere else but WWE. He's product through and through.
Not in this world. They don't get a choice on the trades.
No,
The Miz. Their contract says wrestling.
The Miz would pull a Jonathan Quick when he was traded to Columbus initially. He'd be like, "It's like I'm not going there." Yeah, or the NWA, Billy Corgan's NWA.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah, I know, but it's not Columbus.
You know, one person I was very upset with. I know it's not really a trade, but one person I was upset with a couple years ago because he had the opportunity to go, and that was Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler was in contract, and he's so stale, and he was complaining about them not letting him do comedy because he was trying to break into comedy, and he couldn't do it while he was wrestling. and they were refusing to let him out of his contract. Yada yada yada. I would have loved to see him in AEW.
Who would you?
Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler at one point in time was one of my favorite wrestlers.
I think he's one of the best workers in the company.
Yeah.
I think he elevates everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I think a good trade would be Miro for Dolph Ziggler, 1-for-1.
That's
put
fair.
Miro back. Put Miro back in WWE because he's one of Triple H's boys. I think
one of the kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bray Wyatt, I would never want to see in AEW.
Charlotte, Jade Cargill.
Ooh,
I'm not familiar with that one.
I don't think.
Jade Cargill need to be. Jade Cargill is awesome.
I don't think Charlotte would go because her husband Andrade El Idolo is like in this weird limbo. Is he with the company? Is he not with the company?
He's getting in fights with Sammy Guevara. So.
Oh, I hate Sammy Guevara. I'll trade Sammy Guevara to like Antarctica if it meant I didn't have to see Sammy. Trade the whole Jericho Appreciation Society. I hate it. It's so dumb. It's like the Inner Circle. When the Inner Circle broke up, that should have been it. No more like Chris Jericho needs a faction because he's 50-something years old and he can't like wrestle as good as he used to.
Okay, let's do this real quick. Who do you put? Anybody, any league, you're gonna have to put somebody as the face of Ring of Honor, the face of NXT. So you can't have your top dog, but they've got to be they got to have some drawing power because that's where you're. They're training new people and they're starting the territories. Who's your go-to for each of those two?
Ring of Honor, Eddie Kingston.
I was gonna say that. I was gonna say Eddie Kingston for Ring of Honor.
Fair enough.
Or Zack Sabre Jr.
NXT.
You got
NXT. I'd put in
AEW
Hook.
Moxley. Moxley's AEW through and through. He's your.
I don't think he would go into territory.
No. I'm saying, are we saying the head over
the head of that territory?
Well, of AEW.
No, of that territory.
Oh.
We're saying Ring of Honor, NXT, just because we all know our big championship guys.
Yeah,
but people that they're not going to get the TV time, but they definitely can work their way back up. But they have a drawing power to put butts in seats. That's
I love Eddie Kingston for Ring of Honor. That's that's where I wanted to beat MJF for the title was Eddie Kingston, and then he's going over to Ring of Honor now because they need whatever. But
I have a lot of faith in Solo Sikoa right now. I think he's. I love the guy's like a Taz knockoff, and I'm liking Taz's son because Taz is one of my favorites.
Oh, Hook!
Ever.
Hook's awesome.
So good.
I haven't seen him much, but I've seen him on the internet a few times.
Looks good.
I'd put him somewhere with some notoriety, but not on the main stage either. I don't think he's.
Hook is the perfect example of making the little things into a lot. Doing very little, but everything you do being impactful.
Well, did you watch what his dad used to do? That was his shtick. Everything Taz did was amazing, and it was just, yeah. Okay, that is a show, guys.
Wow,
Whew,
we could go on for hours. We could go on for hours.
Tell you what, if we get good viewership on this, you guys can share this with your friends. We will do some more. We will do another wrestling one in the next few months. But you guys got to let us know you like these. I want to do them more, but I know that's not the highest interest in the iHeart Geek world. But we enjoy the heck out of these. These are fun. So just let us know if this is what you want us to do some more of. We can do some more of these. Until next time, go to the website www.iheartgeekshow.com. You can we paid extra for it. You go to the Facebook, go to the Twitter, go listen to George Eddie on Ice because it's a freaking awesome show. It's rad. I use that word. And until next time, I'm Dub. I'm here with Kevin. We're here with Chris. Keep on geeking on, guys. See you next time.
You have been listening to the latest episode of the iHeart Geek Show. Make sure you visit our website at www.iheartgeekshow.com. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And if you check us out on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And keep on geeking on to all of you geek rock stars.